Hey guys, welcome to Fantasy Effect episode 40. We got a week 4 rewind, and we're going to preview some week 5 stuff, talk about some rookies. We're brought to you by Dynasty Theory in partnership with Dynasty Daddy, and as always, Fantasy Football Infinity. Jay, Holler, how's it going?
Good, man. How's it going?
Great.
Dude, I'm fresh off the Paw Patrol movie this weekend with my
Heyo.
Chase on the case. Chase on the case.
This one was big on Sky though, so this pup's got to fly. If you're familiar, for your parents out there, it's good times.
Wow.
I think we'll be taking my kids to see that too.
I'm not into that yet, so I think I have a couple years. Yeah.
Oh, it'll be a blast, Holler. You'll be so excited.
Can't wait. Except I'm having a boy, so I'm hoping I can,
Oh, dude, Paw Patrol's for everyone.
Yeah, but
I'm maybe PJ Masks in there too, man. I like PJ Masks. I get down with that. That's a good one. All right, should we jump into the news before I get too deep into the children's shows holes?
Let's do it.
Okay. We got Cooper Kupp and Jonathan Taylor activated from the IR. What do we think? What do we know?
This is exciting. I think Cooper Kupp, I expect him probably to play more. I don't know. Jonathan Taylor, I guess he was a full participant in practice.
Yep.
I mean, I think they're going to let him go, but he's got a tough matchup against Tennessee this weekend. So
that is tough.
But I mean, if you had him on your bench, right, you're going to play him, right?
Yeah, That's what I was going to say. Is you're going to play him, but I just think tough matchup with Tennessee. I don't think they're going to ease him in at all. I mean, I don't really know if he was fully injured before. And we haven't heard much other than he's been participating. I know like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, we heard that he still didn't want to play for Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
That's what I thought was the last statement from Jonathan Taylor's mouth was I don't want to play for Indianapolis, but now he's here and he's ready to roll, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants to play for him, but he also doesn't have any leverage to not. Like, he has to play to get this year to count to get to free agency. So,
yep.
That's fair. Yeah, you definitely play them snaps if you want to get out of there, buddy. Go ahead, Holler.
I was just gonna say I'm excited about Cooper Kupp. The Rams have played really well, so it'll be interesting to see as well.
Think take the Eagles down?
I don't think so. We'll wait and talk about that more, but I don't think so. And but I'm more interested to see the impact Cooper Kupp will have on Puka.
Oh, Stafford can support two guys. Let me tell you what about
absolutely
Megatron and Golden Tate. Don't worry about it. He's good.
Yeah.
Breece Hall no longer on a snap count.
That's exciting.
Did we know that he was on one?
They never said he was.
I didn't think so either. I wasn't aware he had one.
But then Robert Saleh was like, "Oh yeah, he's no more limitations. He's ready to roll." So,
faked you out.
Yeah. Well, now it makes sense. I mean, I've been wondering why he was only getting 6 carries and whatever, and he looks really good when he's actually getting the ball.
Especially when you watch him compared to when Dalvin Cook touches the ball, you're like, dude, this dude's dead here. Like, let's give it to the guy who's got some
with the toss sweep.
So clearly that they didn't say anything about it, but it's nice to hear. I've been waiting. I've been like, what the heck do I do with Breece Hall? Like, obviously I wasn't going to trade him because his value was obviously, if you were trading him, no one's going to take anything around Taylor or Gus Bus. I'm gonna go with
you gotta go JT there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Gus Bus is good for 50, and you're hoping he falls into the end zone, and he hasn't fell into the end zone yet. Sucks.
So it'll be cool to see how much Breece can handle. I think he'll be like full go now, and so it'll be cool to see that again.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Kupp, Taylor, and Breece all fully ready to rock. Rocked, cocked, ready to rock. You know what I mean? Don't look at me like that, Spanky. Pickett and Freiermuth both injured. Pickett says he'll be ready. Muth is out 2 to 3 weeks with a hamstring injury.
Could this offense get any worse?
I think you should sit down, Kenny, and just take a break and just think about just take a game off, dude. Just you're hurt. You want to go out there forcing it when you weren't playing good. If you were playing at an all-star level and you want to gut it out, do it. I think Kenny Pickett needs to sit down and just take a breath, man.
Yeah, he's got Pickens. That's about it out there. You know, with
Yeah.
Calvin Austin. I mean, come on. Yeah, I think this offense is brutal. Like they're
Yep.
down, you know, and so I think I totally agree with you, Ron. Like I think it'd be good for him to, you know, take a week off. I mean, he looked like he was pretty hurt when he went out of the game.
Yeah. It looked like a pretty tough turn he took there.
Yeah, so you know, and then Muth, that's a bummer. You know, he's been so much up and down, and so you know that offense is rough.
The offense is horrible. There's
Yeah.
no talent like active on the field at the moment. Like other
Yeah.
than like Jalen Warren, and I mean Pickens is good, but can't do
Is
much
Pickens good?
I think so when he's not the number one option on the offense.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I still
just that boom bust flex guy.
Yeah,
you know.
that's exactly. I was just going to say that is I still think he's just that boomer bust guy, you know, and I think it is hurting that Deontay Johnson's out, and now it's going to hurt even more with Muth out as well. You know, they need those guys for each other to be better. You know, other than Deontay Johnson, he just, you know, gobbles up receptions, but other than that, the other guys are really relied on the other players, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. How you feeling about Najee?
He's bad,
Poop sandwich. Just a poop sandwich.
So yeah, still no good. I mean, he had like one or two. I saw one good run when I was watching Red Zone, and
he ripped like a 20-yarder off there. I think at the end of the game when it was out of reach, and it didn't really matter. I think the defense was laying off the gas a little bit there. Let a few slip through the cracks.
Kind of turned my head. I was like, oh, that looked all right. But then I looked at the score and I was like, oh, okay, that might be why. So you know, to me when I watch, I think Jalen Warren is he looks better. But again, he's not doing anything out of this world either. So they're both kind of just blah.
Sure. When do you guys want to look into that while this little comment here where we talk about some rookies?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's hit the rookies.
You want to? So McSpanky wants to re-rank the quarterbacks. So we have Stroud, Richardson, and Bryce. Do we rank Aiden O'Connell? Were we impressed with Aiden O'Connell, McSpanky?
Not enough to be in this group.
No.
Okay, just making sure that we shouldn't put him on.
He was fine. He was fine.
Okay. Yeah, Asante
I don't think
him of that.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
What I was going to say is I don't think he's somebody that's going to help your team get better. I think he's a solid backup, but I don't think, you know, he's just a guy.
It's hard for anyone to do well in that offense, to be fair.
Yep, I would agree.
Yeah.
It makes me sad, but they are.
Yeah, you have some notes later on the Raiders. We'll get into that later. Okay, so let's re-rank these quarterbacks. What do you guys think? Stroud at the top, Richardson in the middle, and Bryce on bottom?
That's how I had it. I know Richardson is probably like with the rushing upside, he's probably like the more fun option.
Yeah.
But I think Stroud
more
probably
fun option.
Just that he's gonna run and he's gonna get you some highlights and stuff. But Stroud's just a good thrower, man, and I think his long-term value, like I think he's just safer. I feel better about him because Richardson has already been hurt in 2 games. And
Yep.
Yeah, that's not ideal. That's for sure.
So I'm 100% with you, and I think Richardson has a little more upside per se with that running, but I think the bigger thing is just we've seen it week after week now, 4 straight weeks of Stroud just putting together a really good game, and you know I think for me Stroud's firmly at number 1, and then Richardson's 2, and then Bryce needs to. I don't know, that guy holds the ball for too long, and so he's definitely down there at number 3 for me.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be in his defense. He has a bad offensive line. He doesn't really have a lot of good receiving options to throw the ball to.
No,
it's a mess.
The veteran Adam Thielen.
I sure could use DJ Moore, right?
Yesteryear. Yeah, it'd be really weird if he had a number 1 wide receiver. It's too bad they traded away that first round pick too, the 102 that they sent out there.
Yeah,
I think that's what's making this look worse for the Panthers more than anything is you traded up there and took Bryce and you sent the 102 at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to move on to the running backs now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, we got Bijan, A-Chain, Gibbs, Roshan. This how you ranking him with Spanky?
Yeah, so I'd still take Bijan first out of the group, but I think A-Chan's definitely moving up. Gibbs, I think he, when he's been on the field and getting touches, he's been really good. The usage isn't quite there. And then I had Roshan.
They're easing him in. They're easing him in.
Yeah, we'll see.
Sure. I mean, come on.
It's hard to be patient. Like, I know that he's a rookie. He's only played for like a month, right? But it's hard to be patient when you see some of these other guys just torching.
Listen, he did some different things this past week. I will tell you that. He did run a little bit more between the tackles in his duties.
He got Montgomery some Gatorade.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Refill the water.
There's gonna be Gibbs. There'll be Gibbs. I'm just saying he did a few more things differently than what I've seen him do in the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was gonna say. Is I have Bijan clearly number 1 still, but I think I would, even though how much I love HN, I would probably have Gibbs over HN still, and it's close, maybe 2A, 2B, but I think the 1 week we saw against the Broncos, I've said it before, that defense is terrible. And so obviously I think they're going to ease Gibbs in more, but then with Miami, they're going to always use multiple backs. And I know Montgomery's not going anywhere. Gibbs is a little bit, capped with his touchdowns. And we've seen that Achan's getting more of the touchdowns. So I think Achan has a little more upside this year, but I think overall Gibbs is going to be the better running back.
You think so?
Longevity. I think so, yeah.
Are we sure he's not just DeAndre Swift 2.0?
As long as he's not hurt and he's on the field. I mean, DeAndre Swift would have been legit in Detroit if he could stay on the field. It was never a question of talent. It was a question of health. It really is. It always has been.
Yeah, and I think so far as we haven't seen – we need to see a little bit more for him to, get more touches and then actually not produce with those touches. Right now, he's just not getting the ball enough, right? And he's still producing a little bit, right? But to me, he's not getting the ball enough.
Right. Oh, definitely. I would love to see Gibbs get, more touches. And I don't argue this ranking at all. I think that, it's probably the way it should be at this point in time. But I just think, a little bit of patience. They really ease some of these dudes in. I've seen it with some injured guys that come back for Detroit. Like, they don't rush anybody. When you're ready is when you're ready, and then they'll use them. They got another first-round pick, on defense that they're doing the same thing too. Like, he's barely seeing any snaps, but when he's on the field, he's good. So
yeah, bro. I have him in an IDP league, and I'm like, what the heck? Do I start him? Do I not start him? And it's like, geez, Brian Branch, my goodness.
Oh, Brian Branch is a stud.
Yeah.
He's a beast. You can't take him off the field. You can't take someone out of there.
Yeah, HN or whatever we say, but yeah, he's not getting the ball enough as well, right? And so I think
that's starting to change though already.
Yeah.
Sure. But okay, so re-rank these wide receivers. Puka number 1.
Let's go.
Flowers, Addison, Downs, Michael Wilson, JSN. Quinton left off.
Yeah. I didn't put QJ on there just because, after
how many targets did he get last week?
Not many.
I'll look at
3, maybe.
And with Mike Williams, when he was in the lineup, it's easy to be like, oh yeah, he'll get his time, but then Williams was out and QJ's still nowhere to be seen, and it's like, well, is this is really feeling more and more like the whole Jalen Reagor, we made a boo-boo kind of thing all over again.
Alligator arms.
I agree a little bit with that, but I also think he had 3 targets on Sunday, so that's not good, right? They're playing against the Raiders. Their defense is not that good, and so
that should have been 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the time for him. So I guess I see what you're saying with the Jalen Reagor, but I also would ease a little bit, that. But
I'm out.
Yeah, I'm not going out and buying QJ at all.
Wouldn't
like I had, So if I had to. If I had to pick right now, if I was in or not, I agree. I would be out as well. And then, my biggest surprise here is JSN down there. And what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like number 7 or 8. So, it's crazy to me the way they're using him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I saw him catch like some sort of odd wide receiver swing pass. And I'm like, that doesn't seem like a JSN route, man.
Yeah.
His yards per out run is less than 1 yard.
Okay, that's who this note's for. I wondered who the note was for.
Yes,
okay.
I don't understand it. Like you almost like I feel like you and I, all of us could go out there and run a little bit of like a longer route than that. They just don't let.
Just give me a slant, dude. Run a slant.
They don't let them run a slant. They just are basically doing these little like quick screens essentially. And it's not working.
No, he's not fast. I mean,
we
saw the 40.
And it's like they're trying to use him like a small, fast like running back. And that's not who he is. What's happening?
It's to me, it's the way they're using him that's making him, be re-ranked down to number 8. And we all thought that it would take some time, but it's weird because the way they're using him it's not putting him in good spots for him to succeed.
He shouldn't even be seeing tough coverage based off of Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf just standing on the field. Not even them doing anything or running a route. The cornerback 1 and cornerback 2 are locked out of those guys. He should be seeing cornerback 3, safeties. Like, dude, do something, man. Yeah. And I don't know if it's just usage at this point or if it is JSN.
Yep, I was just going to say that. I don't know if it's him, and so I would love to see a little bit more. And a lot, at the beginning of the season, we're like, oh, it might be slow going. It'll probably be better when Lockett leaves. But right now, I'm still worried if Lockett wasn't there and they're still using him the same way. I would love to know more if it's more of him or just the coordinator using him in the misusing him.
Yeah, and Pete's never going to tell us anything. That's for sure.
No, and if anything he does say, it's just going to be probably the opposite, right?
Yeah. Oh, right. The whole we'll never see Charbonnet again, and he was there the next day.
Yeah,
Walker was.
Yeah, he was. He was like talking about Kenneth was going to be there the next day. So we got Puka at the top.
Your dog likes that.
Yeah, he does. He's excited about it. He's
dogs for Puka everywhere.
About Puka. So the only pushback I have on that is Zay Flowers has that draft capital that Puka does not have. And he's performing as well out there. So I think that maybe it can push him up a little higher further on because people are always going to see Puka in that same Amon-Ra St. Brown for, it took almost 3 years, of Sun God being a Sun God for people to really respect that. I mean, he had to work hard in the fantasy community. I remember fighting tooth and claw every day about don't sell your Amon-Ra St. Browns, and everybody went out and sold them because this was the highest he would ever be. Nope.
Here's my thing with Puka is I think the Rams, one, there's some teams that draft capital doesn't matter as much. And I think the Rams are one of them. And then 2, I think they view him as their Robert Woods replacement that they've been trying to fill ever since Woods left.
Yeah.
And I think Puka is the guy. So I think with Kupp coming back, I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit later, but I think they're both still going to have theirs. I think Puka, he's leading the league in targets right now. I don't know, which is crazy.
That's so insane.
Obviously, that's going to go down with Kupp coming back, but
I think the only thing he's not leading is touchdowns.
Touchdowns,
Justin Jefferson has him on that, and that's not a bad guy to be number 2.
Well, he only has 1 touchdown right now, so
that's right. He's only got the 1.
Yeah, the huge one though, overtime touchdown.
Winner.
I was gonna touch a little bit on that, and I listened to a little bit of local radio, and they love Puka, and that's exactly he's really filling in for that Robert Woods, and a lot of them, they're saying that they don't think much is going to change when Kupp comes back, because obviously there's going to be less volume, but I still think they're each going to get theirs, and of course he's not going to get the same amount of yards and the same amount of receptions, but I still think they're going to use him a lot, right? And so it's hard to keep him off the field right now. And so I just think for me, other than my biases, he's firmly also right now my rookie number 1. But honestly, on this list, I'd probably put Flowers over Tank Dell right now.
Yeah.
Just because not necessarily the draft capital, but I think Flowers, just he's doing a little bit more.
Yeah, that's fair. And the reason I put Tank Dell ahead of Flowers was more because I believe in the Texans passing game more than I do the Ravens. Even though I think Flowers is the better talent,
Yeah.
And honestly, I think JSN's the best talent out of all of them. But
easy.
The usage isn't there. In terms of his dynasty value, do you guys? What do you do? I mean, I think you kind of have to hold him, right, based on where you took him.
Yeah.
100%.
Stand strong through this.
Would you cash out in a 1-for-1 trade with any of these guys like Puka, Tank Dell, Flowers, maybe Addison?
Maybe Flowers.
I would do Flowers for sure. I would have a hard time, even though I love Puka, I'd have a hard time just because where you got JSN versus Puka, right? And so giving that 1-to-1 just would feel like you are just kind of giving up on JSN a little bit. Nothing against how good Puka's been.
But it's still week 4, so we got to give him the benefit of the doubt there on that too. Maybe Addison as well. I don't know. I mean, small little bumps onto Addison and Flowers is easy peasy. I'm doing it.
Yeah, I think I would do Flowers and Addison as well. I think the other two, Dell and Puka, I probably don't, but it's certainly tempting.
It sure is, yeah.
Yeah, both of them competitor, and probably definitely.
Both of them are playing really well. I have one of our listener leagues, 3, I think it is, and my team is a little bit older, and Puka's been my best, I think one of my best wide receivers, right? And so I just grabbed him let me grab him. I have a bunch of, it's awesome. And I think on some contending teams that if you could probably go out and get Puka, but right now his value is sky high.
Yeah. I wouldn't even try to get Puka off anybody at all. No way.
Yeah.
What about Josh Downs and Michael Wilson in here?
So I threw them in because they've done a little bit enough just to be a little spicy. Michael Wilson played really well last week.
Yeah, he did.
Cardinals' offense has played just so much better than I even thought they would be.
Oh yeah, a million times better.
Downs I really liked coming out of North Carolina, and Richardson's been a little bit better than I was kind of expecting passing wise, and Downs is he's working in there. He's getting some work.
Yeah.
I think he's a good talent too. He's one of those guys. He's small, but he plays really big. I don't know. I like Downs.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like where you put those two guys. Obviously, they're doing much more than JSN, and Michael Wilson had 2 touchdowns last week, so that was really good. But every time I see Michael Wilson, he's just got a nice good catch or something. It's just he's a good big body wide receiver, and I think he's going to continue to be pretty solid. I don't think he's ever going to be somebody that's this crazy WR1, but I think he's going to be a solid, maybe even flex play for you.
Sure, I could see that happening out in old Arizona in the desert.
But yeah, I agree. I'm so surprised by that offense. My goodness.
Do we move on to the tight ends and Laporta?
There's only one to talk about.
Laporte God. That is the only tight end you need to know, and you only need to know him for the next 10 million years while he's here in Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, Laporte has been awesome. I think Kincaid will get involved eventually, but it is a little bit disappointing just based on all the training camp, hype that went on. I think Musgrave's has been pretty good too.
I agree.
His numbers season long are a little bit down just because he exited in the first half of the Packers game last week.
Sorry guys, I took him on my over, and
it wouldn't have mattered. Wouldn't have mattered last week.
We both did, and then we saw him go out, and we're
wouldn't have mattered, Holler.
Nice. But the one that I really want to talk about that's just infuriating is Michael Mayer. He's just
man.
He's just not even seeing the field. He's barely played over 100 snaps across the year. They're not really letting him run routes. They're using him to run block quite a bit, which I mean he's a good blocker, but it's just weird. They're using Austin Hooper more in the passing game. It's just I guess
weird.
It's just par for the course in the dysfunctional land of Vegas, but it is what it is.
It is weird because I know he was going off the, sometimes before, a lot of the time actually, before Laporta.
Oh, for sure.
And so it's just a little disappointing. And I don't know, if we are more surprised with how well Laporta's doing or how surprised that the lack of Mayers on the field. I think there's a little bit of both there. But really, it's just really disappointing in my opinion.
Yeah. it's definitely not great, and like McSpanky was saying, just into the New England West stuff, just like we hate rookies because we learned from Bill Belichick. Trust me, I watched Matt Patricia do it. They hate rookies. Like they just won't put them on the field. They'll refuse it as long as they can for some reason. I think the Raiders should really try to throw the ball to Michael Mayer because it's just you guys they're not getting it done out there. You got
Yeah.
else.
I mean, they're not throwing to Renfro either, which doesn't make a ton of sense.
Yeah, I mean that offense.
Jimmy Garoppolo, man.
We won't get into
Spanky, I got nothing.
Spanky's gonna have a heart attack.
Let's okay. So we got the disappointments. We kind of talked about the disappointments as we worked through here. Do we want to talk about surprises? We kind of did that as well.
Yeah, I think we kind of hit all those as well.
Okay, so for week 5, we got bye weeks now. We got Browns, Chargers, Seahawks, and Bucks all off.
Yeah.
Bench your Baker Mayfields.
I don't know if maybe it's just like a me thing and how I constructed my rosters, but there's a ton of leagues where I'm like, crap, I have a lot of Browns, Chargers, Seahawks, and Bucks. I'm like, this is a tougher bye week than you would think. We're just 4 teams
so on much bye. Kenneth Walker.
And I also just think that for example, the Bucks are doing a lot better than we thought, right? And so when you went and grabbed those Bucks, obviously, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and whatever, but you might have thought, oh, I don't even know if I will feel that good about all of them. And so I think even the Chargers, like all 4 of those teams, they're producing for fantasy terms. And so I just think that it's more of a hit when they're all, players that you just slide in and don't even think about it.
Yeah, definitely. There's some definite studs sitting out this week. That's for sure.
Yep.
All right, let's get into it. The actual games. We got the Bears at Commanders on Thursday Night Football. Matt Eberflus could be coaching for his life out there on Thursday night. I don't think they can get it done against this Commanders defensive line. Justin Fields was still sacked 4 times against the Denver Broncos, who gave up 70 points to the Miami Dolphins not a week ago.
So, yeah, I think if the Bears lose this game, I think Eberflus is out.
Yep.
Which honestly might help that whole team. And Justin Fields, Fields was awesome last week. Do we think that was more just a product of the Broncos being bad as opposed to Fields turning a corner? That's kind of where I'm at, but I wanted to see what you guys thought.
The Broncos defense is bad. Is what I'm.
Yeah, that defense is absolutely terrible. I mean, it's good we saw that from Justin Fields, but I think I need to see it a little bit more. And if we were to see it this week against the Commanders, because the Commanders have a solid defense, I think he will. I think he is starting to turn. But I don't know. This is not going to be my favorite Thursday Night Football game to watch, unfortunately.
No, I'm going to be excited to kind of see what happens. To be honest with you, I'm going to watch to see how this all plays out for Fields and Eberflus and everybody involved here.
Start your B-Robs.
Yeah, man. We've been throwing them B-Robs all over the place, dude. He's been saving me in redraft.
Let's go.
Jaguars at Bills in London again. Do you guys think the travel slows the Bills down at all? And Calvin Ridley going the wrong way on targets in the passing game.
Yeah.
What do we think?
The Ridley thing is a bummer. He started out like really strong, and then I think his targets have gone down less and less each week. I think we were kind of talking on this podcast, at least we were talking about how we kind of expected Kirk to be the wide receiver 1 there, and it looks like that's kind of going to be the thing. Yeah. But as far as the Bills, I think they played in London last year. I don't think it's too big of a deal. Although I will say the Jaguars do have an advantage here in that they played in London last week and they stayed there. So they are
I was curious
more accustomed.
Okay. Sure.
So I think it'll be a solid game, and I think the Bills. Obviously not going to have the same type of week as last week, and I think it might be not as many points as you would think this kind of game would be, especially because the Jaguars and the Bills have a pretty solid offense. So I think a little bit the travel is going to slow the Bills down a little bit, but I still would take the Bills over the Jaguars here. And I think
this just has Josh Allen doing dumb things written all over it, doesn't it? This is like a three pick Josh Allen game. London at 9:30 in the morning.
I could see that.
He does tend to do that.
Yeah. And I would I agree 100%. Ridley's going the wrong way, and I think it's because mainly I think Christian Kirk is that number one guy there, and I don't know. I think there's a lot of disappointed people with Ridley. I was one that was kind of out on him, and so this is kind of, I wouldn't say nice to see, but it's just something I thought would maybe happen.
Are you guys worried at all about like ETN and the Jaguars running game? It's not been super awesome.
So yes, I am worried because I remember one of my hot takes was that ETN would be, I think, maybe like RB, like top 5, and I thought he would have a better, the running game would be better, and I also think Tank Bigsby would be a lot better as well, and so I just a little disappointing overall, and so I'm a little worried there. I don't know exactly what's going on, and I think overall that offense just isn't really doing as well as everyone thought they would.
Yeah, I thought we'd be spending a whole lot more time in the red zone with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Maybe we jumped the gun a little bit on these guys. I don't know. They can still turn it around. We're still early here in the season. But I think, ETN still gets the targets. He still gets the carries. I think it's just kind of a slog that we're going through at the moment.
Yeah. I think a lot of people were like super high on Trevor Lawrence. And so I think that's kind of hard to see.
He's been a little disappointing.
Yeah, definitely. And so I think it's, again, I think it's early, and I do think they'll come around, and maybe they'll shock us this weekend. And I think that might, say they get a win here, I think that would turn their season around a bit.
Oh, that would turn heads, man.
Yeah.
All right, we got the Texans at the Falcons. Do you think Desmond Ridder finally gets to sit down on the bench this week, or are they going to keep rolling him out there?
If he doesn't get benched this week, like, is it gonna happen?
That's kind of what I was thinking as well. I mean, he honestly should have been benched last week. Yeah, he's been so bad, and so I think this could get out of hand a little bit because the Texans are a lot better than
Texans are borderline good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I know their defense is solid, and so I just think if Ridder can't really throw the ball, I personally think this could get a little bit out of hand.
Let's say that they do decide to bench Ridder. Do you think Heineke can save this offense enough to make Drake London and Kyle Pitts usable?
He'll at least throw the ball at him.
Yeah, I think
fair.
I think we would feel more comfortable with Heineke throwing them the ball than we would. I mean, I still have a hard time sitting. I've sat Pitts, I think, in 2 weeks because I have I think I have Laporta as well, right? And so I've sat Pitts a couple of times, but I have a really hard time sitting London just because of where we've picked him and
what we
where we drafted him and what we expect. Yeah. And so, but in my opinion, I think both of those guys would definitely benefit from Heineke.
It can't get any worse, right?
No. Yeah, at this point, you're playing in the NFC South, man. You could win that division, dude. Bench him.
Yeah.
Take Dell or Nico week.
Yes. They both.
Yes. Yeah. Excellent answer. I was going to say it's been a little bit of like one or the other, but I think last week, I know Nico had a really good game, but I think Tank also had a solid game last week as well. And so I think, I think it was mediocre. So I think, yes, I agree 100%. I think both of them are going to continue to have solid games.
Actually, it was bad. It was one pass for 16 yards. It was bad.
Okay. Yep. I take that back. So it has been every other, right?
Yeah, sure.
I think it was week 3, it was Tank, and week 4 was Nico, right? And I think this week could be a little bit of both because the Falcons defense isn't that good.
Probably got a lot of Minka Fitzpatrick is what he probably saw.
I think so.
Probably coming out of the slot, and Minka just walked down there and took care of that business. Minka's really good. Anyway, so on to the Panthers and Lions. I won't stay here forever because we know that I can do that. J-Mo should play this week. I would guess we probably see 1 to 2 deep shots just his way, just because they want to get him going.
He's going to drop him.
Listen, you bite your tongue. You bite your tongue. J-Mo's a gamer. I'm telling you guys right now, he's just a gamer. He's like Allen Iverson. We're talking about practice. It doesn't matter. Okay, that's all I think about him.
He dropped it in the preseason game.
I was going to say, listen, AI
game.
was good when he played games.
Listen, let him get into the games. You guys will see. I promise you that.
Honestly, I'm hoping I'm wrong.
We need to clip that so that when he he drops the wide open touchdown, we can just like play that back as he's
you guys want my wife to record the scream? Do we care much about any of the Panthers? What's going on with Miles Sanders? He's been pretty disappointing. Miles Sanders.
I think defenses just know that Bryce Young's not going to beat them deep, so they just cheat up on him. The one nice thing though is Adam Thielen's been a monster. Especially just in PPR, like he's catching like 8-9 balls a game.
Yep.
But
he's another good guy if you're.
That's the only one I want.
Contending,
though.
Yeah, right. I was gonna. Yeah, if you're contending, that's somebody that you maybe want to go out and try to buy for cheap. The problem is last week, what's his name was out. Gosh, my brain.
Mingo.
Oh, Mingo.
Yeah, Mingo was out. Yeah, and so I was, but even the week before, Mingo, got concussed, and so he was out then. But I think Thielen is kind of that security blanket, and so he's going to continue to get a lot of.
He's a savvy vet. He's a route runner, man. He can do it. He's a technician, and watched him forever do it to us, in Minnesota. So, but I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you guys. He's probably the guy to have on this offense at this moment in time, especially if Andy Dalton plays 14 targets.
Yeah,
too slow.
100%.
Okay, so on to the Titans at the Colts. Is this Titans D going to put a tough matchup on Anthony Richardson? They just walloped to the Bengals.
Yeah, I do think the Colts have a better offensive line than the Bengals do. And, Richardson is probably the opposite of what Joe Burrow is at the moment, where Burrow can't move at all. Richardson is very athletic.
Yes.
I think the Titans will put up a good run defense, but I don't know, man. I don't know if they can slow down Richardson. He's been really good when he's been on the field. I think I saw Richardson has the most fantasy points per drop back in the league. So when he's been on the field, he's been electric. The Titans have been a little Jekyll and Hyde. They played really good a few weeks, and they lost to someone it was the Browns.
Browns 27-3. Yeah.
So
although I think the Browns are a bit better than a lot of people thought.
And so, really good. Yeah.
I think what's going to help Richardson this week is if he plays is Jonathan Taylor, right? I think they're going to use him, and obviously they're playing against a tough defensive, especially the run defense is tough. But it's Jonathan Taylor, right? I think he's still going to, do a pretty good job, and so I think that's going to help Richardson this week a lot.
Are you guys going to start any Titans outside of Derrick Henry? Or are they all
I start D-Hop just because of the volume in places.
I started D-Hop last week, but I'm going to probably take a look and see if I have anybody with a better matchup. That was one guy I was thinking in my head is like, I don't feel good about it. I don't think Burks do we know if Burks is going to be back?
I don't know.
Does it matter if he's back? I don't think.
No, it does not. I mean, but it would just, if he is going to be back, that might take a little bit away from the volume from D-Hop is my only thing, right? And so
Burks was out at practice today, so it doesn't seem super promising.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, the volume's there for Hopkins, but I just don't feel comfortable about it, to be honest.
Sure, makes sense. Giants at Dolphins. Close your eyes, New York. And we're gonna see Achane take over the backfield this week.
I think so. And the Giants' defense is a hot mess. Plus, the Giants' offense turns the ball over so much that the defense is on the field most of the game.
Yep.
This is shaping up for another Dolphins to kind of a get right game after the Bills fiasco last week.
That's what I was going to say. How many points do you think the Dolphins can put up this week with the Giants?
72. So can I go for 72?
No,
the benchmark was 70, but we'll see.
But man,
it's a good thing they gave old Dable the coach of the year last year, huh?
Yeah, because I think he's gonna be fired because the Giants look so bad.
I think they would be wise to get rid of Daniel Jones, not Dable.
Okay.
And now they did give him that contract, and I don't know if they can, but
trade him.
They're in a bad situation.
Wandale
looked good though.
Wandale
did. That's right.
When the offense did anything, and then I watched the middle when Geno went out. It was Drew Lock versus Daniel Jones, and I'm like, Lock? My lord.
Okay,
maybe it was because Daniel Jones was so bad, but Drew Lock actually looked solid.
No. He threw like a freaking what was that like little out route he threw to Noah Fant, who took it 80 yards for him? Man, I don't know. I think Drew Lock's.
Supposedly Saquon has a realistic chance to play this week. That's what I was just looking up here. So
good.
If Saquon gets back, I think that goes a long way to help Daniel Jones.
100%.
Does.
Jones can't be the focal point of the offense. He has to kind of take a backseat to a strong run game.
Yes, he does. Anyway, moving on to Saints at Patriots. Is Mac Jones going to finish this game? And will the real Chris Olave please stand up?
This feels like a gross game that I don't want any part of.
Yeah.
Like, I think
just let me look at the box score after.
The Patriots are bad kind of all around. Their defense is sneaky bad, and they lost Matthew Judon and I think
Christian
Gonzalez. Yeah, they just traded for Jackson, though, from
Chargers.
The Chargers, yeah. He's only good in New England. He's one of those guys, McSpanky. Trust me, because Detroit paid him. He came to Detroit and sucked, then he went back to New England, and he was playing awesome again, and then he gets paid to go to the Chargers, and he sucked again.
Yeah.
Like he's just one of those guys, man. He's like what's his name? Jamie Collins.
Yeah. So
you're probably gonna say the same thing, but I was really disappointed with Chris Olave last week. You know, I don't know.
I believe he led the league in unrealized air yards or something.
Wow, how many points did that get me for fantasy?
Not many points, Holler. But I'm just letting you know he was still out there running them routes.
Oh, okay.
It's because Derek Carr's bad.
I'll tell you something. You were just saying nice things about Derek Carr. He had 6 targets. He's had 6 targets this past weekend too, but. So he's getting the target. The targets are there. The volume should be going there.
The targets are there, but the ball's not going there.
Listen. Tampa Bay's corners are not. There are no slouches out there. That's sure.
True.
No, those games too. The Bucs Saints games are always nasty.
Yeah.
They're never good for fantasy output. Generally speaking,
flat out just bench Mike Evans that week just because Marshawn Lattimore's got his number.
Or they get ejected.
He had a touchdown though.
Yeah, he did. Ravens at Steelers. What are the Steelers going to do? Is Canada going to get – we just hope Canada gets fired, Pickett gets benched, and when does Deontay get healthy?
I think 1 more week.
He's got one more week on IR, and he can come back. The offense – this is going to be – also, speaking of, like, nasty divisional games, the Steelers-Ravens games are almost always sloppy and gross.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason that this is going to be any different.
Yep.
Sure.
These are 2 kind of bad offenses trying to find their way here. I tend to have a little more faith in the Lamar Jackson side just because Kenny Pickett, 1, isn't great, and 2, he's hurt. So, I mean, I don't know, man. This is gross.
Mark Andrews
should have won good.
Mark Andrews had 2 touchdowns last week, and so I don't know.
Man, Drews.
It's about time.
He's catching his steam, is what he's doing.
I'm hoping. Yeah, we'll see. I have a good amount of Andrews in redraft, so
same.
Okay.
But yeah, I agree 100%. This is not a good fantasy game. They always it's always low scoring. The defenses always show up really well, and so these are like each of them throwing punches and blows.
Are you benching Najee Harris?
I have him in a redraft, and I don't have a better option, unfortunately.
I feel like anybody with a pulse on the active 53 is a better choice than Najee at this point, right?
Oh my lord! Yeah, it's not
I'll have
great.
To take a look and see.
And it is Baltimore, man. I mean, Baltimore is going to play some defense, like you said. It's going to be a knockdown, drag-out slugfest out there.
And now that I said that about Najee, he's going to have some massive 3 touchdown game too.
Yeah.
I don't think it's this weekend.
65 carries is what he's going to get, and that's what he needs to do
for 75 yards. Yeah,
you're right. Yeah, man. I don't know. I mean, he probably felt good about flexing him against Houston with his 11 points or whatever. But yeah, everything before then has been straight garbage, and he's losing touches to Jaylen Warren, and we know the offense is not going to get anywhere near the red zone unless George Pickens just houses it for 90 yards, and that's a pretty rare occasion, as we have seen.
Yep, I agree.
Bengals at Cardinals. So the Bengals going to get right here, or are the Cardinals taking this one?
Dude, I think the Bengals probably win the game, but I don't. Man, that offense is rough. Joe Burrow is not. It's not himself, man, and it's pretty apparent. Like, he can't move at all, and the offensive line's bad, so like they can't block well enough to give him a clean pocket. Jamar Chase
is always
super
open.
Yeah, I was just
I'm always open.
Yeah,
T. Higgins has been dropping balls left and right. Like,
isn't he out with the ribs, or is his ribs are okay, or what's the deal with his ribs?
I think he said
he has them.
He still has them. Yeah.
Good.
I think he said he wasn't going to miss a game, but honestly, that's a guy that I was thinking if you're asking me, are we trusting any? I think that's a guy that I might. It's hard to sit him, but I think that's a guy I might sit. Unfortunately.
Yeah, Higgins didn't practice today, which isn't overly surprising. We'll see. Keep an eye on that later in the week.
Yeah.
But I think since Jamar is all pissed off and always open, that I think this week might be a Jamar week.
It could be a
20 target Jamar week.
Yeah.
He said, "All right, you're open. Just huck it to him every play."
Yeah, I'm open every play. Okay. Meanwhile, Hollywood and the Cardinals, decent plays.
Yeah, I think so. That offense is putting something together, and they're not really playing against the super crazy good defense. I thought the Bengals defense was good, and then I started them in a redraft, and it was no good. So
it was just no good.
So yeah, I think it's just, they're James Conner and Hollywood Brown are solid plays.
I mean, Hollywood Brown is the wide receiver 16 on the year and PPR scoring. So
I'm so surprised by that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the Cardinals offense has been pretty good. Like, you could probably play. I would have a decent amount of confidence in Connor, Hollywood, and Michael Wilson.
That's the one I was thinking in my head as well. It's like,
yeah.
What about Ertz?
Yeah, you kind of. I mean, with the state of the tight ends, you just kind of throw them in there, close your eyes, and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Especially if you fade your tight ends. Yeah, Ertz has been fine. And he's only against Dallas did he only go underneath 8 targets. That was his first game underneath 8 targets this year. So yeah, you'll take that in 2 PPR. That's for sure.
Yeah. Agreed.
Jets at Broncos. Zach Wilson looked really good Sunday night. And
he was showing off for
Broncos D. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not buying that Zach Wilson looked good out there. Chris Collinsworth can cry me a river about it and whatever he wants to talk about. I don't know. I don't buy it.
I mean, Wilson looked good. I want to see if he can look good against a bad team, because he's kind of had these games where he's shown like a flash or two of like, okay, maybe this guy can do something, and then he just goes back and just craps the bed, right? So this is a bad Broncos team. Like, if there was a week for him to light it up, this is the one. Also, I think with Breece Hall coming off of their snap count that we didn't really realize he was on, he should have a big game too. So yes, I feel good. I feel good for the first time probably all year starting Garrett Wilson again.
Yeah, I still don't trust it. No way. Javonte is banged up. What was it? His hip?
Yeah. I think
was
so.
It
yeah,
it is
hip. A hip flexor, right?
Yeah.
They said that they might not miss time at all, or if he does, it's not going to be a ton. So
I feel like he should with how their season's going, and the fact that it's his damn hip and hurting your hip flexor hurts.
Javonte's a little worrisome in just that, like, he's been injured basically his whole career. It's not as bad as the J.K. Dobbins thing, but we're approaching that territory.
Yeah,
I was worried when I saw that he, I was banged up, and then he went out for the game, and so it will be. I'm hoping to see if he plays this week, and so. But yeah, I'm with you guys. I think it's a little bit of J.K. Dobbins territory for sure.
Yeah, it's possible. I'm not there yet on my boy Javonte. Eagles at Rams. The Puka versus Cup target split. I feel like we don't have to worry about that this very first week with Cup, but you guys tell me what you think.
No, probably. I don't think Cooper Kupp's going to come out and have. Well, I mean, he might actually. I don't know. I was going to say he might not come out and have a huge target share, but it's still Cooper Kupp, so he actually might. But I think, as we talked earlier, I think it's just Puka's kind of taken over that Robert Woods role, and while they were both there, Woods and Cooper Kupp, like they both had great weeks, and they can do so at the same time. So I think Puka definitely goes back to the number 2 target in the offense, but I still think there's plenty of room for both of them to be good there.
I think the one person we might see take a step back a lot would be Tutu. And so I think obviously there's going to be a little bit of less volume for Puka, but I do think we'll see plenty of volume for both of the Puka and Cooper Kupp. I think it's going to really help that offense. And I think the issue right now is more their defense, because I can't believe they gave up basically like almost 23 points in one quarter. It was a little bit more than a quarter, but yeah, my goodness. And so it'll be I think it'll be mainly just something to look for to see the difference. And
sure.
And I think there's a little bit of like Puka plays a little bit the same as Kupp, but Kupp is more in the slot. So it'll be fun to watch to see the difference there and see how
for sure
they can use both of them.
Stafford's a little banged up too, but Stafford's a warrior, and you'll have to drag him off the field. So
I was gonna say, is Stafford ever not a little banged up?
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't matter to him.
I was watching that game, and he was just like hobbling around, and I was like, "What is going on?" And then I just kind of remembered that
is vintage Detroit Matthew Stafford right there, just
he's
toughing it through, just like on a 4-10, record, and he's just out there hucking bombs, dude. He doesn't care. Do we trust DeAndre Swift to lead this backfield in Philly?
I think so, right?
Yeah.
I think it's his backfield until he either 1 gets hurt or 2 just I don't know, just like fumbles or does something wrong again. But sure. I think it's his backfield as of now.
Yeah, they're feeding him a lot, so I think I agree 100%. It's his backfield, but I do think he could get injured here shortly.
The one thing I will say about Swift is his fantasy output could be so much higher if they stop getting. He got tackled at the 1 yard line a ton, and then Jalen Hurts that's season with their little.
I'm so surprised, like how
the brotherly shove is what they're calling.
Right.
I'm so surprised that they can continue to do that and nobody can stop it.
You can't. I mean, how are you supposed to stop that? You just basically have like all 11 dudes just shoving.
Yeah,
him.
Shoving him.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, maybe you form a line on the defensive side, and you just put some D tackles behind another D tackle, and you just start shoving up the center. I don't know.
11 D tackles out there. Let's go.
Yeah, and then they'll start running a fake one and sending a pitch out the other side. Anyway. We're Chiefs at Vikings. This should be explosive on offense, or maybe not, because like the wide receivers for the Chiefs aren't very good.
Rashee Rice is leading their wide receivers in targets, which is fun.
Yeah, I mean, he was the cheap option too for them, wasn't he? Or the cheaper of the Sky Moore.
Yes, and
I can't remember where Tony was, because just like Kadarius Toney as a person, his value was bonkers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, you like that? You like that? That's a word out there.
And I think Kelsey is a little bit, wrapped up in the Taylor Swift stuff, and last week was rough.
He's pulling a Rocky 3 on us. He's a little distracted. He's not training in the dark and dingy gyms anymore. He's training in the bright, flashy lights of Hollywood with Taylor Swift. So, we've seen it happen.
I don't like it. I wish he would just, I need my normal Travis Kelce for my fantasy teams, man. You're hurting me.
We all do. We all need to see him. Or it's the dreaded Cliff. It's happening.
I mean, maybe, but he played pretty well. I think the Jets defense really focused on him because I think this is what a lot of teams are doing, that now that they don't have like a Tyreek Hill,
why would you cover the wide receivers?
It's like, make Sky Moore beat me. And if he does, so be it, right? Like,
I think you can live with that. Yeah.
Yep. Agreed. I think that's kind of why Rashid Rice is getting open a little bit more, and so unfortunately they're going to need somebody to step up to allow Kelsey to open up a little bit more.
Just trade for Devontae Adams. Solve all your problems.
Don't do that. That's gross.
They won't do that. They won't do that across the division, will they?
Why is that gross?
We traded Hawk to the Vikings.
Yeah.
Do it.
The Raiders and Chiefs hate each other, and I don't think there's.
Yeah, but they need the picks. And they're not winning anything.
They're not gonna be good picks though. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but try finding somebody to pay a Devontae Adams salary and trade for him. Anything of value.
The Raiders did it.
Yeah. Well, there's your example. Sorry.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins is having one of his best seasons, but the defense is horrible, and I bet
oh my gosh,
to why he's having his best season. Well, it's because Brian Flores just blitzes the hell out of everybody. You live by the blitz and you die by the blitz, my friend.
You are dying.
They don't have the corners on the back end to survive the blitzing when they don't.
Couldn't name a starting. Harrison Smith. There's a starting.
There you go.
Smith's there, and they have a rookie that they drafted too. That's been.
Couldn't tell you his name.
Okay.
Are we worried at all about Jordan Addison? One target, last week.
No, I think that was kind of a product of just. Well, maybe. I don't know. I here's the thing. He's still a rookie. He's still getting eased in.
Yeah,
I think he's going to have bad games from time to time.
Yeah.
He's still playing second fiddle to Justin Jefferson and KJ Osborne. Honestly, we've seen him do things.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He's kind of playing third fiddle behind Osborne, and I don't like it.
And Hawkinson, really. So
yeah.
Oh yeah, Hawk. Yeah, the Hawk Daddy.
He didn't have a solid game.
No, he didn't. He did not have a very good week. But who did the Panthers?
Panthers, yeah.
Didn't it? I was gonna say they didn't have like a great.
Defense.
They did not overall
game. Just overall, they won.
Yeah.
What did Madison do?
He had a nice game.
Oh, okay.
Well, they just turned the clock out. 17 for 95.
He's always medicine for me.
Yeah,
he is. But okay, so I mean, he had 17 carries, 95 yards, and then he had one catch. So like out of all the Vikings, he did okay. I mean, outside of Jefferson, he was probably the one you wanted to play.
Well,
would you trade? This is a big one. Let's talk it out real quick. Would you trade James Cook, James Conner, Devonta Smith, and Tyler Lockett for Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Chris Godwin, and Zach Moss?
Justin Jefferson.
Yes. I think once I read Justin Jefferson,
there's honestly the Cook, Connors, Devontae, and Lockett. That's like Justin Jefferson for those four is probably fine, and then you get Addison and Godwin on top of it. And Zach Moss, whatever. But give me the Justin Jefferson side all day.
Yeah, if you have some other, you're giving up two running backs. So
are you
have some other running backs?
Would be my main question.
Probably not, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to send away these running backs, I wouldn't want to be a competitive roster. It would be my only reservations here.
I mean, if you are competing, though, you get Zach Moss, who's, I guess he's not going to be
Jonathan Taylor.
JT's coming back, though, yeah.
Zach Moss doesn't matter.
Maybe he has Jonathan Taylor, and so that's an insurance policy.
Yeah. That could be.
Yeah,
nice.
I love getting the best player by far, but I just think it's sometimes that's a lot of running backs. So it really depends on that.
Slightly team dependent is all I'm saying.
Yep.
If you're even if you're questioning your competitive or your contendership status, I'm sending those players away for Justin Jefferson. Like if I'm questioning my roster in any way, shape, or form, I'm getting Justin Jefferson for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is going to be the game of the week here.
Cowboys at 49ers.
Yeah.
I think what McSpanky put in here, the defensive battle. I think it's going to kind of.
Well, I think football wise.
Oh, I got you. As an overall football. Yeah, but we do have CMC out here. I always forget somehow that CMC is now in San Francisco still. I'm still not used to it somehow.
So the real question I have is who gets to play the Zeke role of being the only down lineman snapping the ball?
Ooh.
For the
Cowboys. Who's big and chubby like Zeke?
Dak. Let Dak do
Dak? Okay, Dak can do it, yeah.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, are the Cowboys good? Like they're 3-1. but they played both New York teams. They played the Cardinals, who they lost to, and then the Patriots, who lost two of their best defensive players on the field. Like, now, granted, they won a lot of those games pretty handily, but
yeah.
the offense hasn't been overly impressive, in my opinion.
The defense has been scoring 2 touchdowns a game too, and I think that kind of plays into what the offense is doing.
But you can't do that every week.
Right, exactly. I think this is kind of the week we'll find out. I mean, this is the biggest measuring stick of them all right now, really.
Yep.
This game has sneaky 49ers blowout potential, I think.
Yeah, I could see that. But
I gonna go nuts.
Yeah, I have a hard time. I still think the Cowboys defense is really good. Obviously they lost one of their corners, and so that was rough. And so I don't know.
Diggs.
Thank you.
Diggs. Yeah.
Towards ACL. Yeah.
So I do think it's going to be a defensive battle.
Yeah.
But
that 49ers defense and Fred Warner flying around out there is going to cause some problems for.
Yeah.
And then Micah Parsons into old Brock Purdy's face. We're finally going to see Purdy stumble a little bit here. I mean, this dude was the very last pick of the NFL draft.
No, I think Shanahan protects him.
Just slanging it. Me too.
With his offensive play calling. It's one of those great examples of Shanahan can cater his play calling and his offense to his players as opposed to the next game.
Well, not Trey Lance, but
not all.
Okay. Packers at Raiders. McSpanky wants McDaniels fired. I was calling for this before the season even started to get McDaniels out of here. I'm on the boat with you, McSpanky. Let's get him gone. We'll start a petition. We'll start a GoFundMe. Whatever you need. You can't have Ben Johnson. I'll
sign it.
I would love Ben Johnson.
And then also, do you guys think we can trust Aaron Jones?
Go ahead, Holler.
I was going to say, yes, but only because AJ Dillon is so bad, right? There's nobody else there really, but I think Aaron Jones was still a little banged up last week, and also they were behind a lot, and the game script was not very good, and so. But I think Aaron Jones will be better, and so in my opinion, I think we can trust Aaron Jones, and I think he's the guy moving forward for sure, and I think he helps Jordan Love out a little bit.
Yeah, the Packers offense has been pretty bad, but lucky for them, the Raiders defense is also very bad. So this is the game to get right. If you don't do it this week, you might not be doing it.
Listen, that Lions defensive line was living in the backfield with Jordan Love for large portions of that game, and I've seen Max Crosby wreck games himself, and that is not a man to play around with. I could see him living in Jordan Love's lap too.
Don't do that. Don't give me hope.
Hey, listen, I'm just saying, dude. He could rush the passer, and it looked like they were really struggling with pass rushers.
The other thing is, I don't know if Garoppolo's cleared the concussion protocol yet, so he may or may not be.
Yeah, he may not. If he doesn't play, this could be rough.
And Brady's coming out of retirement to save McDaniel's job. Here it comes.
No.
What?
Another trade. Would you trade Jamar for Kenneth Walker or DeAndre Swift? No.
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 Do that. No.
Is this redraft?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's redraft.
Yeah.
But no.
Calvo,
no.
are you with us?
But I would trade CD instead of Jamar for those guys.
Yeah.
Well, for Walker, not Swift.
Yeah.
Unless it is redraft, and then in that case, I would do CD for either of those guys. But I would keep Jamar Chase, especially because I think this week he's having a massive.
And I would do CD for Walker. A Swift, I could see him get injured and then be done.
Yeah. Kenneth, the stud Walker. All right, you guys want to get in a 2-minute drive?
Yeah,
let's do it.
Okay, so I just put in my my parlay, my 3-pick underdog here, and I picked the Cardinals, the Texans, and the Jets to win this weekend.
That's a spicy.
Here we go.
Also, the Jets are underdogs against Denver?
I know, right? I found that surprising. They must think really lowly of Zach Wilson. I think highly of the Jets defense. So I think that's going to be the turning point of the game with Russ out there. They'll be all right.
I don't know. I'm a little worried about the Cardinals for you.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one, man. But they've been scrapping it out with everybody. Yeah. They've been close with everybody. I mean, the 49ers are the 49ers, but dude, the Bengals have been playing like straight butt cheeks.
Yep.
T. Higgins might not play.
Dirty butt cheeks too.
Here we go, man. Nasty one. The blowout, all up your back. What are you doing?
We gotta wrap this up. We're getting unhinged.
Some Debbie, here we go.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Bo Nix, man. All right, so Bo Nix at Oregon, you might remember him from Auburn when he was horrible. The last couple of years, so last year and then this year, he's been at Oregon. He's just lighting it up. I saw a couple reports that he's kind of sneaking into the first round, and which would be awesome if we get a third quarterback in the first round. Obviously, Caleb Williams.
What about JJ McCarthy?
Yeah, that dude. Okay. God. There's a ton of JJ McCarthy love out there, and I don't understand any of it.
I don't know.
If someone can show me some tape,
yeah.
If someone can show me why McCarthy's good, like please hit me up. I really want to know why. Like I don't see it. I've watched him a lot, but Bo Nix is good.
He is.
I'm excited that he's getting some recognition.
Sorry, McSpanky, he's not going to be QB3. No way.
Who? Bo Nix?
It's going to be yours, man.
No.
Viewers.
I'll bet.
Yeah,
I'll bet on that.
There's also we can bet on it.
Michael Penix.
Michael Penix is a no-go. Nope.
No.
I've heard some very bad things about his his processing and how he's getting open. He's got 2 first-round wide receivers
their receivers are super good.
Out in the Pac-12. So there's also this dude Cam Ward.
Cam Ward's good from Washington.
Yeah,
he's not better than Bo Nix. Get out of here.
Looks like we can have Ron join us on a Debbie.
I was gonna say, dude, Ron's throwing out some Debbie names.
Prospects Pros has been helping me out a little bit.
Real quick here, I want to give a shout out to my boy Malik Neighbors. He's putting together some really good. The last 3 games, he was over 100 yards. I think he's starting to cement himself as the second wide receiver. I know Egbuka is really good. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And Egbuka as well. And so, the running backs are really struggling this year, in my opinion. And so I just think the wide receivers are going to probably creep in the 3-4 area, maybe 3-4-5 area. And so I really like Malik Neighbors. I think I got a couple of him on my Debbie squads.
Yep. This is not the year to need a running back.
Correct.
Not that bad, eh?
They've all. Henderson had one. Like he looked solid against a couple of good runs against Ohio State, but overall, just nah.
Henderson broke off that 60-yard run against Notre Dame, and that
was his best one all year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've been saying 2 years now. That dude's a bum. Anyway, he just gets the Ohio State bump. This guy, real quick, last thing: Warren or Khalil Herbert, full PPR. Is this start trade? Please tell me it's a start sit question. It was so much easier.
Start sit.
I'd probably do Herbert.
Yeah, I think
you probably gotta do Herbert.
To be honest, I just can't trust anything.
And if it's a trade, I definitely would take Herbert.
The trade is tougher.
If it's
I don't know.
Trade, I'd probably go Warren
because Herbert will see himself to the bench at some point.
That's true.
I think
people are clamoring for it. Like they just all they want is Roshan. Nobody wants to see Khalil Herbert out there.
Yeah, but I do think they'll still use Khalil Herbert as like the passing running back. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
Okay, should we get out of here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Peace out, everyone.
Peace out.